You and I both are in the same cohort of social ambassadors.
Mhm.
And it's a fantastic opportunity that we get to meet each other in person at the conference, connect, build, and then talk about how we started each of our journey.
Welcome to the Data Nerd Podcast. I'm your host, Nisar Ahmed. Join me as we explore the inner data nerd inside all of us. Dive into the world of data alongside special guests who not only share their wealth of experience and knowledge, but also unveil what truly makes them data nerds. This podcast is brought to you by Business Intelligence. That's BIZNIS Intelligence. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Business Intelligence to stay up to date with Tableau training and the Data Nerd podcast. Connect with me on LinkedIn or stream the Data Nerd podcast across all major podcast platforms. Okay, welcome to the Data Nerd podcast, special edition live podcast. Actually, my first live podcast ever.
Wow,
So you're
that
special.
is the first. Yay! Thank you, Nisar, for having me.
No, thank you for joining me. We are at Tableau Conference, San Diego 2025. Just wrapped up day 3. We're all done. And I have the pleasure of, you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Nisar, for having me. My name is Ojo. Ojoswi Basu was a bit too much for my North American friends, so I chopped it down to Ojo.
Ojo.
I'm a newly crowned ambassador and a big fan, data nerd in the making. I have good friends like Nisar, and I've had an amazing time at the conference, meeting people, learning stuff, and getting things done.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm a fan of yours too. And we're both, so I'm also newly appointed Tableau Social Ambassador 2024. And so I think, and this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about some of our journey and how we got to where we are as social ambassadors, and hopefully able to inspire others to do similar type of work, right?
Absolutely. I think this is a good point. You and I both are in the same cohort of social ambassadors.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fantastic opportunity that we get to meet each other in person at the conference, connect, build, and then talk about how we started each of our journeys. And rightfully, as you mentioned, our journey could be an inspiration for you who are watching us.
Exactly. So let me ask you about your journey. What was your journey?
Yeah, 12 years back. Well, I'm 20 years into tech consulting.
Mm-hmm.
20 years is a long time. So when I came to North America on work permit, I got into the space of business intelligence and analytics, data as a whole. And from then, I played around with a bunch of tools, Oracle, OBIE, MicroStrategy. And in 2012, I first came across Tableau. I say Tableau happened to me because I hadn't planned for it.
Yeah.
And when the tool landed, we were doing a project with one of the retailers in Canada. They have a big operation in the US. They were early adopters of Tableau. At the time, very few people knew about it. And once I started using the tool, the amount of passion I felt, the love I felt for the charts, the ease of use, the drag and drop, everything appealed to me. My creative outlet, I found it, and I never looked back after.
Your journey is very similar to mine. Tableau fell in my lap too. I didn't ask for it. It just came at the right, I was at the right place at the right time, and I adopted it. And from there, like, my career took a different turn for the better, I hope.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, you see that here at the conference, right? Like the excitement level, the data fan.
Yes.
I think that's, if people were to ask me, and I admittedly, I don't use any other BI tools. I don't know if you do.
I hardly do.
Mostly Tableau, right?
Yes.
But if you were to ask the difference between Tableau and its community and all other communities in the BI space,
right,
Tableau really focuses on that community aspect of things, right? And that's a huge part of the of Tableau.
Yes. Yeah, I can definitely speak to that, and it's a great question, great observation. I've been saying this in the conference over the years, that Tableau, when it started off, it was built around the people, the community, the users. The use cases drove the product. When I first used, that was version 6 of Tableau, believe it or not. It used to be the bare bones of it. You had only a few features, only a few chart types, no parameters, none
but
of that.
the core of that still hasn't changed though.
That's
Right?
true. That's true.
Like the core reason Tableau started,
Yes.
it's still the same. It still applies today.
Yes. I mean, it used to be a university, a paper, right?
Yes, yeah. That's Stanford, right?
Yes, Stanford paper.
Yeah.
That got converted into a product. And then the users fell in love with it, much like me. The early adopters liked the ease of use. It was something new. And as the community used the product, they came up with their own suggestions, their own ideas, which still exists today. There is an idea forum where you can put your idea, like, how can I improve this feature? Or I would like to see this feature added to Tableau. This is there. And it went from strength to strength and build on that feature to now have a product like 2025.1.
And you see that when they have devs on stage here. Basically, devs on stage is where they take the feedback from the community and then they implement it in their new releases, right? And they talk about that. And that's probably one of the most exciting sessions.
Right.
Because people see it come to life. They're like, oh, I've been waiting for this.
Yes.
And so it's always great to see, right? So let's talk. So we're both social ambassadors.
Right.
2024 was our first year. The Vizzies just happened.
Yes.
And there was different categories in the Vizzies, right? And one of them was Best Content Creator, which both of us were nominated for. And you were also nominated in
the leadership
category.
Yeah, I made it to the top 10.
So you made a top 10 in both. You made it in second place in content.
Yes, thank you.
No,
Yes.
that's no.
No, I mean, yeah.
That's nothing to be like.
No offense taken.
No offense. Yeah, there's nothing to be offended.
Nisar and I have spoken about this before the Vizzies were awarded, and we both knew that making it to with all the people there and the names that we had to were in the company of in that short list. I think the win is already there. To be in the top. To be in the short list is a win for us.
Yeah.
Nisar has been doing fantastic work. The community understands that, and it's just popular vote that he won by. Yeah, no shame in that.
No, and I only bring it up because this goes in line with both of our experiences. We're both new to that Tableau social ambassador,
piece, yeah,
and we made it to the top 2 in that category.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And so, what does this say about people who think they can't do it? Like, I started over a year ago. How long have you been doing the
almost about the same? Yeah.
Right.
About a year. Yes.
Those things can happen quickly.
Yes.
Right. It's a snowball effect. Things happen.
True. Also, we got to understand that you have a good understanding of the product, of the practice. You bring quality with it, right? And you are talking to the right kind of people who are leaders, visionaries, ambassadors, practitioners of data as a whole. So your appeal is wide, right? And since you bring quality and consistent quality, people get that. And the data fam pays very close attention to the work we do or anyone does within the community and look at the value that they produce. And that takes you from the first step to the next, and then where Nisar is today.
And you as well.
Thank you.
I mean, listen, you do great work out there, right? Whether it's on LinkedIn or you even have YouTube videos as well, right?
Yeah.
And so you put great content on there, and to be honest, like, I learned from you.
Oh my God!
No, I do. I'll be honest. I watch your videos. I learn from you.
The admiration is mutual.
And everybody in the data fam learns from each other.
It does, yeah.
And I'm at a loss for words, to be honest. After going after you, what were you just saying? We just went out for lunch, right?
That's right.
What did you say at lunch? You're sad that the conference is over.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have that feeling because you go through this week and it's such a high.
True.
And now you're like, oh, it's over. You waited a year for this.
Yes.
And then just
and you have to wait another year for it to come back. Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. The way I look at the conference is it's a bunch of people who are very passionate about it, who help each other. We call themselves the data fam, the ambassadors and the visionaries. They put hard work into it and mastering their craft and improving their own craft, and then helping others who are new to the field, inspire them in ways that words can't tell. And when they come to the conference, they bring their best game. The conference brings together such amazing components, and it feels like a great reunion of sorts.
It is a reunion.
Yeah.
To be honest, I probably spend more time networking and talking to other people
Yeah.
than going to the sessions themselves.
This has been the strategy for me this year as well.
Yeah.
I realized in my first year attending in person that I used to be focused on learn, only to realize that these sessions are recorded and you can watch on demand.
Not all of them are, though.
Yes, that's true.
There are still some useful sessions.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Yes.
You only get this opportunity once a year to
meet the people. And the impact is completely different when you interact with someone. When you interact with someone over the phone or virtually versus see them face to face. Like the impact we're having right now is at a different level altogether. Had we done the podcast virtually,
the connection
right?
is different.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it definitely is.
We went for a lunch. We shook hands 15 times.
Yeah.
We ran into each other 30 times.
Yeah.
And I'm sure later on next year when we do meet, it's going to be at another level because we'd have collaborated
and then we already
talked about it. Yes, absolutely. And that's how it has been for me. When I came in 2019 for the first time in person, I met some of the great leaders. I connected with them, and then the continuation of that conversation over the years took from one step to the other. And this year, when I come back as a new ambassador, everyone who needs to know me, and I'm fanboying. I'm like a big fanboy cheerleader of those people whom I've recently met over the last couple of years.
You also were talking. You had sessions here at the conference. Talk about that.
True. Last year, I'll back up the bus a little bit.
Yeah.
Last year, so you knew about how I fell into Tableau 12 years back. And I've been mostly a technical person, working on my skills, improving my game, and just focusing on quality, delivering work as a consultant, working 9 to 5 on my contract piece. Started my own data to visuals, which is my own consulting company. And we do help clients with their data needs. But it was only recently in 2024 when I joined Next Level Tableau and Andy spoke to me, Andy Kriebel, who started Next Level Tableau. He inspired me. He posts 3 times. At the time, he used to post.
He's very
good.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I looked at him and I have Andy as my mentor, Andy Kriebel posting 3 times a week, I asked myself, how hard could it be for me to post once a day? Or maybe once every alternate day? And it all started from there.
Is that the goal you set for yourself?
Well, I try to post once a day, 5 days a week.
But it's one thing to say that you're going to do it. It's another thing to execute and do it. Right. I think you have to put a plan in place and try to achieve that. Otherwise, it will just, it won't stay consistent.
Yes. It's hard work. It's discipline. It's not hard because it's hard. It's hard because you have to do it consistently. The staying consistent part is the challenge.
That 100% is the challenge. That's the hardest part. And you know why it's hard? And this is what I feel is sometimes in the beginning, you don't see the benefit right away. And then you start to lose motivation.
Right.
But if you stay consistent with it, you'll reap the benefits. You'll reap the rewards.
Absolutely.
If you didn't stay consistent with it and I didn't stay consistent with it, we would not be nominated for the content creator.
Right. I think it depends on our audience. Our audience is now used to is now tuned that we will be producing something of quality, and they wait for it. And if we don't deliver, we're not respecting the expectations of our audience. That's how I look at it. Yeah,
that's true. But I don't know about you, but speaking for myself, the reason I started creating content was not for myself really. It was more just to spread knowledge.
right.
So I'm an instructor. I part of my class I teach Tableau. Okay, I had a good friend of mine kept pushing me and telling me, put yourself out on YouTube, put it on YouTube. I'm like, no, why? Like
Yeah.
why do I need to do that? He goes, listen, it will help you, that you'll be much better than other people.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe him. I'm like, no, there's so many people out there. It's just a saturated market. And he goes, no, trust me, do it.
Yes.
Once I did it,
Yeah.
I don't know if hooked is the right word, but I got hooked. I'm like, you know what? This is not bad. Let me do it. And then I started this podcast, and then you start to meet people and network, and not for any reason, not for any monetary value. I don't make money from this.
True.
It's just to connect with the community and share knowledge, and then you just don't know what will come from it, right? And is that a similar experience for you?
There are a lot of commonalities in our stories. I've been very hands-on. I can work very quickly with Tableau and produce something quality. But I used to think that doing work was enough for the longest time. And only after I realized that the world has changed around me.
Yeah.
And when they mentioned, I was having this question, there's enough good content outside. Am I adding to the noise? This used to be my question in the initial couple of weeks, months.
Right.
And I talked to a few of them who consistently create content, blogs and things like that, not podcasts or YouTube videos, but typically who have a blog and things. I reached out to them and I said, if I start something like this, do you think it's going to be adding to the noise, or is it going to be valuable? And they gave me the confidence. They are established leaders, not one, but many. Rui was one of them. Andy Kriebel was another. And they mentioned, no, your experience is Eva Murray too. She encouraged me and said, Ojo, you should go out there and write about it, because your view is yours and yours only. And how you approach that subject is very personal. The way you explain something might appeal to someone that none of us are appealing currently. So there's always a market, an audience for what you're doing. And rightfully, I don't do it. I'm not monetizing it yet. I don't have any plans of monetizing currently. I just do it because Makeover Monday piece. That's something I started doing after I figured that there's another great mind, Blake. We are Next Level Tableau. He does these community projects, and then he was my accountability partner and said, Ojo, get back on the Makeover Monday bandwagon. And I started doing it 2024. And then once I published, a few people came back and said, Ojo, how did you do that? So I realized there's a place for creating a build along video, where what I do is I record how I'm doing it, and I explain what I did, why I did, and align it with best practices, make it clean, edit, of course, that video, and I publish it along with the dashboard as a build along. And I think that has now its own appeal. There is an audience for it.
Yeah. And I think, if we go back to when we started this journey and you were doubting yourself.
Yes.
Right? I was doing the same. And I think the reason why that doubt creeps in is because we feel like we don't have enough knowledge to share. Or people won't benefit from our knowledge, right? You'd be surprised how many people stop themselves from doing things. And I'm not saying everybody has to create a YouTube channel. Like, there's different mediums. Like, if you're not comfortable going in front of the camera, that's okay. You can write. You can write.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, you post videos, but you write as well.
I'm faceless. Yeah. So most of my videos are faceless. It's just voice and mouse moving over Tableau.
And that's perfectly fine, right?
I'm just walking them through. It's like a show and tell of the product and how I built it, of the finished solution. I went from just the data to the analytics and the finished solution without showing my face. Of course, I've done a few TikTok style shorts.
Yeah.
But those are only maybe probably less than 5 or 10 in number, versus I have more than 45 build along videos.
Do you do any written content?
Hardly any. My proof is mostly as posts in LinkedIn. I'm yet to start a newsletter or a blog or what have you.
Yeah. But it's an option for people, right? If they want to start off and just get themselves out there. Here's what I serve as a mentor as well to students or people who want to get into analytics. Okay,
very cool.
And what I advise them is this: LinkedIn is such a powerful tool.
It is.
Like if you're not on LinkedIn,
you're missing out.
You're missing out on so much.
So true.
And LinkedIn is not just there to look for jobs. That's correct. I probably learn the most on LinkedIn than anywhere else.
Absolutely.
You have people like Andy Krivel.
Yeah.
How many times does he post free content out on LinkedIn?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Does it impact him because it's free? He should does he say that, no, I have to charge you for this? Yes, he has a business. He has Next Level, and he charges for it, but he also puts free content out there. Correct. Right? And why? What's he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah, Andy and Eva back in the days when they used to run Makeover Monday. It was absolutely free, and they used to build. They used to evaluate those submissions. It was labor of love, and as you mentioned, when you teach, two people learn. Right? There's a saying that goes, and I absolutely believe in it. And you'd agree that if you explain something to someone. Not only is the person listening to you getting a better hang of it, but you are learning to explain things better. And that's a very powerful skill to have.
You know what? That's very right. I probably learn more from teaching than sometimes the students do themselves.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I was mentioning about LinkedIn, right? Being on LinkedIn.
Yes.
What I tell people is a lot of times, most people are on LinkedIn and they scroll through the content and they read other people and they don't really engage.
Right.
They don't comment. I'm not talking about creating original posts. I'm just saying even commenting. I would highly encourage people to set a goal, even just to say, like, I will write one comment per day. Be consistent with that. What happens when you do that? Your name gets out there, not just people in your network, but the people in the network. Like if you have a post and I comment on your post, your network sees it.
Yes, that's right.
Right. So you're exposing yourself to a broader network.
Right.
You're getting your name out there. Yes. If at some point you need something, or I need something from you, or I'm asking for something, you're like, oh yeah, Nassar, I know you. You comment on my posts. Right. I know who you are. Rather than me just asking you and trying to introduce myself, you want to get to know people and have that network so that when the time comes when you need something, or not necessarily need something, but opportunities present themselves, then you already have that network base.
Yes, absolutely. I've learned so much from the Flurlich twins, Andy Kriebel, Andy Codgreave, the Chart Chat.
Yeah.
Our very own Steve Wexler, right? Whom we ran into
on the way here.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And all of these people, they are heart-led. They have done this for the community. And I feel that I couldn't have done Tableau for 12 years unless I had the passion in me, or the true calling. You can't do something for so many years unless you truly love or feel inspired by it. So I've had great role models to look up to, right? And I think you do too.
Yes.
And that's what actually is the secret behind the sauce.
Yeah. So talk about why people should put themselves out there on social. And social, what? Okay, when we say social,
yes,
people think
Twitter,
TikTok.
Instagram, TikTok.
That's
not completely.
everything.
That's
right?
right. Yeah. It's a big term. YouTube is social media, TikTok, Instagram, every platform has its niche audience.
Yes.
My only platform is LinkedIn. Like I was mentioning, my proof and the posts go into LinkedIn.
Yeah.
If there is a build along video where I'm explaining or show and tell some feature or explaining something about Tableau, I record it. I cut and process it and use Loom and things like that. And then once I have that finished recording, that content, I house it and I upload it in YouTube.
Yeah.
And that becomes the home for my video.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't have a blog yet, but LinkedIn ties back to, so each of these videos then ties back to my LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
That's how I do it.
Yeah. And for you, because you're self-employed, it serves as marketing yourself as well, right?
But I didn't start thinking about it like that. And I don't think about it like so. I do it because I feel like sharing, like I've been given, like Andy Kriebel, they mentioned that I should share and put myself out there more. And what else could I share? Because I don't understand anything else. Over the last 12 years, I've forgotten everything else that I knew, and I've just focused on Tableau.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that I can talk about, right?
Yeah,
Is there anything else to talk about? No.
There's nothing wrong with that.
True.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tableau is still a skill set that's very much in demand. And there's
yes.
out there, and there's work to be done.
Absolutely.
So there's nothing wrong with focusing on one thing and being really good at that one thing.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a great story, and I think I think the lesson I'm getting here is that it's never too late to start. Number one.
Yes.
Don't doubt yourself.
Very true. But it will happen. Just muscle through it.
Put a plan in place. Right.
Sure.
If you like,
stay consistent.
Stay consistent. That's it. Like after you listen to this, you might be like, oh, I want to start doing this.
True.
I'll ask you a month later, and then you're like, oh, it's too much work. You'll make excuses. Life happens. It does. I mean, we're both busy people.
Right. We have families.
We have families. I have a full-time job. I teach classes. I'm sure you have work and families and other activities.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of carve out time and dedicate time, however little it is, as long as you block out some time towards this purpose, I think it will.
Do you have a frequency of posting? Like, do you have a set goal?
On LinkedIn, I don't, but
on the podcast?
On podcasts, here's the thing. I used to do it when I started once a week.
Right.
I'll be honest, I thought it was too much for me. To find guests, produce, edit once a week on top of my other responsibilities.
Yes.
So I scaled it down to every 2 weeks.
Right. And there's nothing wrong about it.
I'm still staying consistent with that.
Very nice. Yeah. Everyone's definition of consistency is different. For someone who is really good at it or is doing this full time, producing a video content every day is walk in the park. For someone like Nisar, who has everything else and this is on the side, once in 2 weeks is great. And it doesn't have to be, we don't have to be very clear about the path when we start. As you approach the woods, the trees get clearer. That's what I think. Did I just make it up? Maybe. But what does that mean?
That's a good saying. You should trademark that.
I don't even know whether that's what, whether I heard something. But what I mean by that is when you start, the end is unclear. The way, the path, the means, everything is unclear. But as you step one step to the next, a big walk starts with the first step. So once you take that, okay, this is working out, and then you adjust. So you did write that.
It's okay to adjust. But what I do is I post every other week. But what I do is I create short clips and highlights, and that I post in
I've
the
looked
alternate
at your work.
weeks.
It's very nice. It's very captivating. It's engaging. No wonder you have such a massive following.
No, listen, you learn along the way. No one's going to be an expert, to be honest. And I'm not an expert by any means. There are many people out there who do work that are much better than me, but it's part of the job is you learn.
Yes. I had the privilege of meeting Tableau Tim. If you don't know who Tableau Tim is, you should look into it.
Yes.
We all love Tableau Tim in the community. He does fantastic work. He's landslide following. And I asked him, hey, Tim, do you have any tips for me? I'm struggling a little bit here, a little bit. And I asked him questions. He said, you have to practice.
You have to what?
Practice.
Practice
That's
what?
the only secret. He asked me, Ojo, when you started Tableau, was it hard for you? I said, yes. He said, if editing is hard for you, if doing social media is hard for you, then practice on your skill. Unless you practice, you won't get better. And I'm sharing this with you. This was an advice he gave me, and I thought it's important for me to share with everyone, and I did. Thank you, Tim. Thank you,
No,
Nisar.
that's great advice, because what happens, a lot of people will give up.
Yes.
When something's too hard.
Right.
But he's saying do the opposite. Practice more so you can become better.
Yeah. No wonder he's figured it out.
Oh, yeah, he is in the community, not just me and you, but a lot of people look up to him.
Absolutely.
In the community, right?
Yeah.
So great. No, listen, Ojo, this has been a great conversation.
Yes.
And I appreciate you joining me live from our very first live podcast.
The timing couldn't have been better.
We talked about this, and it just ended up working out.
Yes. I'm so thankful that you could make time for it.
Yes.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.